Here, I don't know if you can see it well because the Osmo Pocket is focusing on the other side of the street, but there is this big reflective wall, and there are some like traces, and I suppose that some poster kind of thing were stuck with some gum tape. So you see that there are some glue like traces. What I did is I bump up my aperture to f8 and I switched to manual focus to really focus on the thing on the reflective surface, because even with a camera like the A7C II, it's hard for the camera to understand where to focus. And yeah, then I waited for someone to step and walk somewhere with a bit more light, just like right here, to create a bit more subject separation, and that's it. And good morning once again from the streets of Hiroshima. We are back today shooting some 50mm street photography. I paired my Sony FE f1.8 Sony lens to my Sony A7C II, and we'll try to find some interesting composition, explaining what caught my attention and how I shoot this kind of scenes. And yeah, the weather today is pretty good. We have some nice sunlight, and it should stay like this for at least a few hours. So yeah, let's get started. I really like this patch of light here coming in the street, and I used this thing on the right with plenty of colors, but mainly yellow, to add a little bit of foreground and color, splitting my composition into two, making something vertical like this. And I waited for someone to walk into the light, which was not very easy because people here are always trying to walk in the shade. It's still summer, it's super hot, so I understand, but I think I got one decent shot. So here we have another nice scene with some light pouring here from the right, and I'm shooting almost against the light, not straight on, but it should be coming around here, I guess. And here what caught my attention is this texture on this wall, and I also like the other wall on this other building with these straight lines. It creates something quite easy to read and not too much visual noise, and if someone walk around here in the light, it would create a nice almost like a silhouette, which could look pretty good. Just found this nice reflective surface on this wall, and it is sandwiched between these two marble looking kind of pillar, and I like the texture on this, and this is what I focus on, and I try to compose in a way to have here right in the middle a clean bright spot, trying not to show too much of this black thing. So just my position a bit like this, but it's not exactly the same because I'm shooting 50mm, and I waited for someone to walk in this gap, but still focusing on the texture. I brought up my aperture to f8, I guess, so the subject is out of focus, but there is still enough depth of field to understand that it's a human walking by. It's not completely blurry by the f1.8 bokeh. So yeah, that's what I had in mind for this shot. As always, I'm shooting in aperture priority mode. I set my minimum shutter speed to 1/125, but probably today with this amount of light it will anyway go up quite high. And I set my aperture to f4 or f5.6 as a base because it's a good balance of sharpness and depth of field. From there, if I want to shoot with more bokeh, I step down to f2, f1.8, but I don't think I will shoot such wide open today. And in the opposite situation where I want more depth of field, more things in focus, I can go up to f8 or f11. can see there's two cats just enjoying their time, relaxing, and I was able to take an interesting photo with this cat, and you see there's someone, like a guy, seated in the background, and there's a nice bright backdrop behind him, so created a nice silhouette. So I took it vertical with the cat and the guy in the background, and I thought it looked quite cool. Really like the mood of this small alleyway, but I really doubt that anyone will step into the frame, so just took a shot as it is, because sometimes like it suffices to itself. You don't need a human subject in every single photo, I think. I love the deep green of these plants, and once again with the 50mm you can really focus in one specific area, finding somewhere where there's not this kind of less good looking leaves, and I focused here on the center, and then you can make it very nice in the edit. I think it cannot be a standalone shot, but a very nice picture to have and include in a set, I think. So in this building there's a Japanese public bath. This sign here, it says "you," and I really love the design and the fact that it's on this yellow wall, and we have this green lines. I think it looks cool. And in this situation where anyway the perspective is not straight, you won't have straight lines. I'm shooting up. I try to have at least one line or something that is parallel to the edge of the frame. What I did in this case is that I used this green lines and made it parallel and nicely aligned with the left side of my frame. I think it helps organizing the shot a little bit. And yeah, that's one trick you can use when you're shooting with with a perspective where you won't have straight lines. Look at this pretty cool and cute shrine in the middle of this more residential building, and I like behind it you have a bit of blue sky and these nice clouds. I can see a vertical frame here, focusing on the temple with the nice sky in the background. Simple, efficient, I like it. Sunlight is back, pretty happy about that. And look at this building. There's some vegetation all around it. You have to figure out a way to take an interesting picture. I like, of course, the building, but I like this little bit here of plants coming on this other building, so maybe I'll focus on that section of the frame. Let's see. Here I can see another still life kind of shot with this nice looking plant with this blue thing here, but as you can see I'm standing right between two cars because I didn't have enough space to capture everything on 50mm. If I were standing here shooting the same thing, but let's say at 28 or 35, the perspective and the look of the photo would be different. So playing with the constraint of a prime lens make you move more, and make you capture like perspective and photos that you would not have if you were using a zoom lens and being lazy by just zooming in or out to capture what you want to be in the frame. There is something quite simple and pure about this scene with the truck and the nice little store hit by the light perfectly. Thanks to the 50mm once again, can make it quite easy to read without too much visual noise. You can basically get rid of everything here and also this part. There's even a guy walking inside, but I'm not sure it would show well. But let me try. there's just something so simple about this, like one little square right in the middle of the frame with some colorful elements. We have these like bottle racks. They are nicely hit by the light. It just looks very cool. I just find this vintage looking store here that caught my attention, and I use this vending machine as a foreground to fill up the frame on the right side. The surface is quite shiny, so it created some interesting reflection here in the foreground, and also we are playing with the colors. It's red. The storefront here is green, there's a touch of yellow too, and I was lucky someone walked in the frame and I could get the shot. There is a beautiful cloud up there at the moment, and you see, if I place myself like this, I can create a frame within a frame with this lamppost making this angle, and the building here nicely framing the clouds right in the middle. We have a beautiful source of light here coming from the back. The train is at the station, so it adds a little bit of interest, and there's some light bouncing on top of the train, and it seems like they're grilling some yakitori or something. There's some smoke coming from the side there. Looks very cool. Now it's a bit busy, so it's difficult to have only one subject on the street, but yeah, I'll have a few attempts and see what I can get.